Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the WSBS, I'd like to give a warm welcome to firstly our guest of honor, Mr. Ndaba Ntsele, and everyone else who was able to make it to this prestigious event. My name is Ndaba Ntsele, the treasurer of the Wits Students Business Society, and on behalf of my executive, I'd like to give a warm welcome to everyone who is here. This is our first speaker series for the year, so it's quite a big thing for the society. Our program for today will proceed as follows. Our guest speaker will deliver his presentation, and thereafter we'll have a question and answer sessions where members of the audience will be given an opportunity to ask Mr. Ntsele any questions based on his presentation and our topic for today, which is entrepreneurship, putting Africa back on the map. Our speaker for today is someone whose name you are all likely to be familiar with. Mr. Ndaba Ntsele began his journey as an entrepreneur at the tender age of 6, when he would buy and sell fruit and peanuts in Soweto. Later, whilst still a scholar, he sold snacks at the migrant worker hostel and then newspapers. But it did not end there for Mr. Ntsele, who after building petrol stations and investing in property deals was awarded the Nike license in preparation for Nike's reinvestment into South Africa. Mr. Ntsele and his team exceeded return on investment for 3 consecutive years before selling back the licensing business to Nike. Mr. Ntsele holds, amongst other portfolio, the position as the chief executive holder of Pamodzi Investments Holdings, a black-owned and managed company that has, in its 16 years of existence, assembled a portfolio of powerful investments and accomplished a number of milestones. Mr. Ntsele's vision of giving economic power to the country's majority and his passion and drive for black business empowerment is reflected in his recent appointment as the president of the recreated Black Business Council. Born from a family of entrepreneurs, he is a man widely known for his play to win motto, which resonates in his winning of the 2007 Ernst & Young World Entrepreneur Awards Program SA chapter. As stated by the industry development site leader.co.za, and I quote, "For Mr. Ntsele, leadership is a continuous learning cycle of beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors. He believes that before you're a leader, success is all about growing yourself, but once you become a leader, it's all about growing others." Without using any more of your time, let me welcome to the fore the man himself, Mr. Ndaba Ntsele.
Thanks, my beautiful little daughter. And I hear that you hold in a very nice position, treasurer. So me and you must be friends. Because next time I visit this place, you must tell me that you got 2 million in your kitty. And you got to create it. Guys, good afternoon. And I'm very humbled to come here and talk to students and the youth at Wits University. I thought I'm gonna bring a DVD about Pamodzi just to give you a big picture of who we are, but I decided not to bring it, and I hope I'm gonna come again. And when you don't invite me again, I know that I didn't impress you. But if you call me again, it means I've impressed you. I'm going to talk about entrepreneurship. And I'm going to talk about wealth creation. And I'm going to talk about us getting to the next level as Africans or as blacks in the country in terms of economical freedom. That's my topic. But usually there's no, usually I'll go back. we grow up being taught that the love of money is the root of all evils. And now Ndaba says the lack of money is the root of all evils. And I'll tell you why I believe strongly about that. But I just want to give you a quick background where I come from. I was born here in Soweto, and I started selling apples with my aunt. And the reason for doing that, when I was very, very young, I wanted to have my own money, and it gave me independence to go to the movies. That time we called them bioscope, because I was born a long time ago. It gave me independence to go to the movies without asking money from my dad. So I grew up having the love of money. And when I was in Orlando High, that time, they've changed now, it was standard 12 and all that, but we call it JC, before we go to matric. I was working for myself. I used to sell, again, peanuts, apples, and also here in Hillbrow. It was during apartheid, where blacks were not allowed to stay in Hillbrow, and they were not allowed to be at Wits. I wouldn't see so many black faces in Wits. So in the evening, I would sell newspapers for white people that were coming from the movies. And I developed that business. Now you listen to this very carefully. When I did my Matric 1, selling newspapers here in Hillbrow, the vendor stalls used to call it corners. I put my corner. So there are guys who are very, very sharp in these corners. They will sell the papers, they are sweet, they whistle, they smile, and their papers will be finished in no time. And they come and buy your newspapers at a big discount if you've still got a big pile, because you got to take it back. So you lose money. So at that time, because I was not a person who was smiling all the time, when I grew up, some people discovered that I got dimples, so they said, dimples are for girls, so I decided not to smile. So I grew up as a youngster not smiling, and then I lost out in terms of selling papers. I didn't smile with people. That was me. That's a character that I built in me. Then I decided that, instead of these guys coming to buy my newspapers at a huge discount, I bought their corners or their vendors. So I'll offer him money and it goes, and I put a youngster. I had up to 10 of these vendors that were owned by me. But at night time, you employ youngsters. When they collect money, when they sell, they also run away with your money. So you got to collect your money all the time. Now, I decided to employ, the first white person I employed was a student at Wits that time, a Jewish boy. He had a lambretta. I called him. I said, can you take me between 7 until 11 at night? Every hour, I go and collect my money, and I'm going to pay you. And they agreed. I remember this guy's mother thought we were talking politics, but we were talking money. Money came. So I employed a white person during apartheid when I was doing Matric 1. And I bought my first car at Orlando High in Morris Minor when I was in Matric 1. So you can imagine that if you have a car that you've bought by yourself. I've got a daughter at Wits, but I bought her a car. It's not her money. This one was my money. I worked and I had my money. Now, if you manage to do that, you also got teachers that didn't have cars. So it means at that time I was creating more income than some of my teachers. And of course, our principal, late Mr. Kambule, because I had a car, he decided that he's going to give me a job, that I must, the football uniform and the girls' netball uniform, I must take it to the ground. I agreed, except that I went back to him, I charged him. He didn't expect that I'm going to charge him because I used petrol. So the point I'm making is that this world is driven by wealth, by money, by finance, and also education. It is, whether we like it, we don't like it. Before coming here, I had a nice juice and some nice cake. They spend money to do that. So we must learn to spend money. Now, when do you start? When do you start? That's a question. You start right now. Right now, you can do it. There's no reason that 5 of you guys, 5 of you or 6 of you come together, go and borrow money from the bank whilst you're a student and buy a taxi and have a taxi running up and down here whilst you're studying and having income. This is one way of getting income. Another way of getting income, I've been asked to talk about tender entrepreneurs. It was not in my speech, but I want to talk about tender entrepreneurs. The term tender entrepreneurs is a negative term that is referred to black people when they go and apply for tenders. It's wrong. It was done by the minister of, the guy coming to the Minister of Education, Mr. Nzimande. Mr. Nzimande, he didn't like to see a lot of us going for government tenders. Now, I respect his opinion, but what I want to tell you right now, there's nothing wrong for you guys, whilst being here at Wits, to go and get tender documents and apply or submit tenders to supply pencil to a school or even here at Wits. There's nothing wrong about that. So I just want to take out the myth that being a tender entrepreneur is wrong. There's nothing like a tender entrepreneur. It's just tenders. There's a theory that other committees, white committees, when the Minister of Finance make a budget speech, they take a pen and paper, they check that the army is getting 8 billion, education, higher education, so many billion, farming, so many billion, and then they say to themselves, that's money that's gonna be spent. Now they say a black child, during that speech, he listened to the minister. At the end of the day, he says to his granny, it was a good speech, grannies are getting more pension. But he doesn't look at it from a different angle. I told the Minister Pravin that I was disappointed. In Parliament, which is maybe 90% black people, for the first time he says, we are going to spend, I repeat, we're going to spend 1.1 trillion. And the silence was so loud. Nobody reacted, nobody clapped hands, until he said, guys, I expected to clap hands, 1.1 trillion for the first time. And then they clap hands. Now what does that mean? It means they're not serious about money. Our own ministers right there, they should, he says he's going to spend. Now, if he says he's going to spend, that money is going to go somewhere. And if he's going to spend it, when you look at this budget speech, how much of that money must I get? Because if that money goes to us as South Africans, he's going to tax us again. But the sad part about this spend, most of it goes overseas. I mean, you might have seen on Monday in the newspaper that this e-toll gates, an Austrian company made the biggest profit from our toll gates here. So it's our duty to defend that. It is our duty to love money. Now, if you love something, this is what passion with something. Young boys, how I got my wife? Because I have passion, I love it. Seriously, I was dedicated. I bought ice cream those days. Ice cream too. She can tell you. I'll come with ice cream. I'll come with little things, and they say better, but you have to do that, guys. Now, get the best of these ladies if you do that. But you must have money to do that. Those that don't have, they are hoping for the best. With one day, Joshua Freedom. Guys, I started, now this is important. I hate to say I, me, myself. It's about we. We started Pamodzi. Pamodzi is 34 years old now. Most of you were not born when we started Pamodzi. It was in the township, and we saw a gap because the apartheid government was not building houses for black people in the townships. So once you get old and get married, you couldn't get a home. And what was happening, you go and rent with a granny and hoping that that granny will die and you have the house. That's true, that's what happened, And then we started to be innovative and build 2 rooms and a garage in the townships. But those 2 rooms were not for was for extended family, and the garage was not for the car, for the extended family. Now, I'm saying we, it was myself and a guy called Ndaba Ntsele and Solisitole. Apartheid, and you must look back and think where you are right now, because you are in a better position. But if you don't know the history, you cannot position yourself better. Apartheid were not allowed to form partnership as blacks. The apartheid government didn't want us to have assets, didn't want us to talk about wealth. Hence, they treated us as individuals. So you must be a sole proprietor. That's why we had a lot of stores, Mtetwa and sons, or Mfukeng and daughters. Now, they knew that you're not going to grow like that unless we combine forces. So that is what I'm going to preach today. When you start playing in the money game, please get partners. Be 2 and 3 so that you can discuss, you can brainstorm. So we started there, and then fortunately at that time came 99 year lease. And then the big townships like Protein North, Doxonville Extension, Mamelodi Gardens, Silma View in the West End, those townships were built by Pamodzi Construction, my company. And at times I meet students that are still staying there. And then we're building, of course, schools. There's a school, a triple-story school, Siena Marina in Soweto. Now, you listen. You have to be big dreamers. And you have to jump certain stairs in a ladder. You don't have to go one by one. You got to jump. We moved from 2-room and garages to do property development. That is starting from a farm and make township establishment, bulk local services. Now, when you do that, what do you need? The most important thing that you need is marbles. By marbles, I mean money. If you don't have marbles, you cannot play the game. And you need a lot of marbles to play in a big league. So you, as students, whatever you want to do, want to get into business, whilst being students, don't think small. Because Africa is full of entrepreneurs, I can tell you. But entrepreneurs that are not effective, a lot of hawkers that doesn't go to the next level, people that got a single taxi, they don't have a lot of taxis because they work as individuals. Now, I said you must love money. Now, I'm planting another seed that when we grew up, we're told that Wanaka, quality is not good. That's a wrong concept, because you must have money to make money. You must go and borrow. I didn't time myself, but I'll keep on talking, sorry. I didn't time. You must go and borrow a lot of money, and don't have fear. Don't fear of borrowing a lot of money. You must borrow money to make money. And once you can multiply money, and then you are in the road to success. So don't fear. Now, when we move up from doing 2 rooms and garages, I had to go and borrow for our first project, about 4 million rands, animal feed. But what was interesting, with Food Corp, I also have 30,000 cattle live at the given time, and 90,000 pigs in Mpumalanga. So, all now, 90,000 pigs, when the stadium is full at FNP, it's about the number of pigs that I have. And coming from Soweto, when I tell people, they think I'm joking. They said, "Yo, it's got 30,000 on your computer." But it was real. When I bought Food Corp, with all those things, Enterprise Baloney, the meat that you eat in the bush was coming from us, among other things. We're the 3rd biggest food manufacturer in the country. Now, listen to this. In order to get Food Corp, we had to have 1.8 billion rands. 1.8 billion rands. When I went to ABSA, I said, I want to buy it. They said, Ndaba, 1.8 billion rands. I said, wow, it's sort of 200 million. It should be 2 billion rands. I said, I can raise this money. Now, confidence. Again, guys, in order for you to be great entrepreneurs, you must not fear. You must find solutions to any problem. And the biggest problem for all of us is access to funding. Now, you create methods, you bulldoze, you network, you phone people that you know. I've got this big project, can you link me with somebody? It's about relationship. But at that time, I understood that the world is flat, because at that time I owned Nike, and when I was growing Nike, I got some of the money from overseas, Citibank. I couldn't get money in South Africa. So when the Bank South Africa said they cannot give me 1.7 billion, with my track record, I called ABN AMRO in Holland. And guess what? 2 weeks, I had 1.7 billion, everything. Some of the money, of course, came from South Africa, but it was done. So Pamodzi was owning 65%. We gave also employees some money of Food Corp. Now, I was running a company that has employed at that time close to 7,000 people, and we had some turnover of about 4 billion. We started from 4 billion. When we sold it was somewhere in 8 billion. And at that time, we bought a whole lot of things. I mean, I'll count these companies. Prestasi, which is indoor rig services. Auto Pavara, those that are stylish who drive BMW, we own it. In the Midrand, we had Tina Lodge at the Kruger National Park. We had Altec, Namitech division with about 30% of Altec. West Bank Auto. West Bank wanted. Now, the buzzword today is BEE. Now, I want to encourage you, you must be black business people, not black empowerment people. Black business. The difference, once you are BEE, there's a structure where you don't get involved. Once you're a black business person, you get involved in a structure and you control. Now, West Bank is very, very important. West Bank wanted to have black partners or suntan. We're not black, we're suntan. We're nice. And then, what I did, because West Bank is too big, I said to West Bank, I cannot be a partner with West Bank. But let's cooperatize. Now, when you cooperatize, is a terminology that you take a division and put aside and become a partner of that division. Because once you are in business and you are too small, they will dominate you. So then we cooperatize a company called West Bank Auto. What is West Bank Auto? West Bank Auto, you see these cars that people pay petrol with, that's come from Westbank Auto. In fact, we're the biggest buyer of petrol in the country. So we capitalize Westbank Auto. And then, again, when you do business, don't be shy. Once we had 30% of the business, I said to them, because they are dealing with state or government business a lot, I said we must take the chairmanship and we must employ the CEO and the CFO. The treasurer must be with. Because once you are in a PPE environment, the CFO and the CEO, they can manipulate things. So you must be in control, guys. Once you get involved in business, also have control and manage that control. So we became partners of Westbank and we also grew that thing. And then when the time was right, we sold it. Why do we sell these things? Because marriage is supposed to last till death do us part. But business, when at times business hit a very, very high note, and you can sell it for, you can call your price, you sell it. Because cash is king. You remain with what I wrote in the paper, money, cash. Because with cash, you can still buy the same business after some time. They can buy it and spoil it and go and buy it cheaper. So you must always think to accumulate cash as you grow in business. And you don't fall in love with it that all of us come from the township. Also some of the girls we were born in the suburbs, whatever. But those that come from the township, you might have seen the shops that you used to admire as youngsters, owned by a family, now that those are gone and all that, because they kept a business for too long. At a certain time, these filling stations, they get sold from time to time. One gets in, one comes with new ideologies. So you must not be fixed. If you are entrepreneurship is to be flexible. Think out of the box. That was Pamodzi at a certain stage. And then we, at that time, had employed, during that time, I think staff complement was close to 32,000 people. Now, you create wealth, employ people, you got a lot of social development programs, and it's fun to do that. Now, I'm going to talk about the future of Pamodzi before you ask me questions, guys. There's a slogan of Nike. What is Nike's slogan? Just do it. Just do it. But the best slogan of Nike, it says, there's no finish line. That's the best slogan of Nike. So there must be no finish line for you as long as you are alive. Maponya is a good example. Maponya is 90-something. Has invited me today at Mandela State Theatre. There's something very, very nice that is affordable by people that got money. I'm sorry, I'm trying to learn with you. You must learn with me. I think you learn with now. So, Maponya has invited me. I'm going there at 6 o'clock. Now, you keep on going, no finish line. And look at what Maponya did at whatever. Business like education, as long as your strength can acquire education, go on and on and on. It's also like that. Now, moving forward, we've got these assets. Now, I want to bring one youngster that I thought you are going to be familiar with. Uloyiso Mangena. Who knows Uloyiso Mangena? Uloyiso. What does it do? Sorry? Oh, okay. Yeah. Uloyiso is a top executive at Pamodzi now. Oh. Why? Because he loves money. Yeah, if you want him, you'll find him. Pamodzi is along the highway. If you want him, you'll find him there. But I want to bring Loyiso because you can relate to Loyiso. He's a youngster. I think he's in 20s. And also this is a succession plan. You work with people, you bring the youth, but you bring youth that is on the same wavelength with yourself. And Unfortunately, I wanted, because Loyiso runs a division of Pamodzi called Twaragano. Loyiso, I think it's 28 years. Loyiso has opened Pamodzi Angola. We got the Angola division, a very huge Angola division. In fact, he's taking some of the people to Angola. Loyiso has opened Pamodzi Namibia, and he also runs a big division. And he's a youngster. I mean, I know you guys are not, you are 16s or 18, but he's but he's about 20-something. I cannot, I don't want to say that, because students must be out of university after 22, whatever, and going back. So, yeah. But Loyiso is working with us, and unfortunately, he booked this time, but unfortunately, there's a big tender that is coming for 100 million rand. So he had to make a choice to come and show his handsome face here or to chase the dollar. So he decided to chase the dollar. But it's a good example. So you guys, why I'm mentioning Loyiso? I'm mentioning Loyiso. I'm now creating the future. And then also there's nothing wrong with yourself that when you work, you must work with some distinguished companies. I mean, we've got Pamodzi Industrials who manufacture for motor vehicle components, who manufacture for mines and all that. Some of you are doing engineering. You can call our office and find out where can you be placed for school vacation to get that game practice. It is important. And at the end of the month, get some taste of moolah. And then you know about your own money. You have to do it, and you got to start now. Now, we are in Pamodzi right now, we're in aviation. We got the sole right to sell Antonov aeroplanes. Who knows Antonov here? Now, you have to read a lot and research. Antonov is the biggest plane in the world, in one of this world. One of them is Antonov. Antonov carries a space shuttle. Antonov is made in Ukraine, and it was Russia at that time. We were the sole license as Pamodzi to sell Antonov. United Nations military, all their planes are Antonov planes. Now, the only plane that can land in a desert, when you've got this, in Sudan, when there's this rally, the only plane that can land there is an Antonov plane. Now, why I'm telling you about some of these things, I'm just like you. I was born here, but my eyes are beyond these borders. Untlanta, one of my students, the first deal, was a 50 million rand deal. Untlanta, because guys, it doesn't have to start with 1 rand. You can start at the top. Confidence. Now, if Wits Business School asked me to give a lecture, so proudly, I mean, Untlanta is one of the students that I used to my spare time to coach, and he has done this much. And others, even Loyiso I used to coach, now is working for us. He's not working for us, he's a partner there, because we also give shares at Pamodzi. What I didn't tell you, my tea lady, her shares at one time were worth over 1 million rands. My tea lady, she drives a 320 BMW. So we don't have partners, we got shares. So I do that. Now, at Wits Business School, once I was talking, and to students like yourself, then I said, Untlanta, I'm making an example that I made, Untlanta's first deal was 50 million rands. I was not aware that Untlanta, because Untlanta was 27, he also came there. He was part of the audience. Untlanta raised his hand. He said, I've just done another one for 200 million. So, yes, I do.
The second question came from? Oh, can I please have the people who are asking to come down? To come down and ask in the microphone, because maybe some people are interested in hearing what you're asking, because it can reach. Okay. 4 people left to ask.
My question was that, it's congested question. I had the opportunity of studying at an international school through scholarship, and I noticed multi-millionaires are the friends of, the parents of my friends. And I noticed that there were people from outside of the country, people from the States, people from Germany, people from all over the world, but not South Africans. This showed the lack of trust by these large companies in South Africa on the capabilities of South African professionals. So my question to you is that, disregarding BE, because BE doesn't do much, they only put you below the professional level where you actually deserve. What do we do to convince these large major companies to actually have trust in the capabilities of professionals from places like Wits and other universities in this country? Because they're not hiring these people to be CEOs, they're hiring people from outside the country, people who are taking this currency and taking our wealth outside of the country. So, yeah.
Okay, thanks. I mean, the quick answer to that, we must create our own industries, because I will employ him. And that's the real world, what is happening in the market. Right now, you have people that are foreigners. They were in London, and they did some of these businesses, and they're employed by big companies. There is a black management forum that fights for those people, but there's nothing better than forming our own industries, doing some small manufacturing ourselves. It can be done. Let's take care of ourselves. Nobody's going to help us. That's the point that I was trying to make. And because I decide to employ black people. You all know Tebe Kalafeng. Yes. Tebe, I employed Tebe at Nike. I made a decision that I'm employing a black guy to be a group marketing. Nunu Chingela too, was it? She's a big woman at Ogilvy Menthe. I decided, because it was my company, you see, and maybe I also discriminated against other races, but I decided. So let's form big corporation. Let's come together and do that.
Oh, my first question is, does it what is happening with Aurora Mine affect the brand Pamodzi as a business? Because every time they are talking about Aurora Mines, there will be Pamodzi name within the context. I would like to know, does it affect the brand's Pamodzi as a business? So my second question is, I listened to your interview with ABN Digital, where you talked about the mandate of BBC as, again, helping in upskilling the hawkers and small manufacturers. I would like to know, how do you plan to do that going forward?
Okay. The question of the brand, when they speak about Aurora, because Pamodzi Gold was liquidated, they mention Pamodzi. Now, a brand is a brand, and people read negative news. And each time that name is there, there's Pamodzi there. People know about Pamodzi. I was in New York one time in a conference, and I had my name tag in Pamodzi. This American woman says, "Hey, are you from Pamodzi? You know, I want to meet Pamodzi guy." They've seen it on the, and you just got to manage, as long as they don't report a negative thing. Like the truth of the matter is that when the mine got liquidated, all the guys who were employed, they were there. So what happens after us, as you know now, is another thing, but they have to mention Pamodzi. But you have to be strong. I mean, you got to have thick skin. Some of these things, the fact, Pamodzi Gold was 3% of the whole portfolio. But the perception was that Pamodzi is Pamodzi Gold. So you cannot leave your brand because your son stepped somebody and now he's going to jail. So say, I'm no longer Kumano, I'm Mfukeng now. You've got to stay up there with your heads high and all that. How are we going to upskill people? I'm going to India next week and with the president. And what I'm going to, part of the things, of course, we're going to give you the blueprint. You guys must read papers. Thanks, you listen to me, what I was saying. Read papers, TV, everything. Read about your own kind, because we've got a lot of things that we're doing. But to have information early, the better. I want to get small manufacturers, and I'm going to try and get machines in India for people who can manufacture stationery, but small, not really big. People are going to turn over maybe 40 million rands in a group. So those hawkers, the mother who can sell apples at a profit, can be a small manufacturer. So we're going to go all over the world and try and get people into manufacturing, and people must form partnership. And then those of you that are doing economics, you can come with the numbers that how much the government spend with stationery? It's billions of rand. Now, if we can, every province, we move an auntie from selling apples and he manufactures pencils, pens, and because these things the government imports them from overseas in any case. So we can, by manufacturing here, block that. And we have been in manufacturing, and we are ourselves. I mean, the SIM card, the pay-as-you-go card, was manufactured by our company, Namitech. So that is one way. There are many other things that we want to do in upgrading small people. One of the things is that, guys, you see the filling stations, and there's a shop next to the filling station. Those shops, close to 80% are not owned by black people. They're owned by whites. Why? Because they are great cash generators. Those shops, they turn over, some of them, a week more than 3 million rands. But we don't know. We will look at them, and the lives, so those shops are going to go and fight with the engines, with the BP of this world, and say, I want a big slice for Wits students. The 5 of them come together. They want to have ownership of those things. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at McDonald's. We're going to look at Kentucky. Kentucky turns over a lot of money. But again, a lot of blacks. These are called cash generators. You must also go and read about what's a cash generator. A cash generator is something that gives you a lot of free cash flow, a lot of profit. The money that you can buy and buy somebody a nice perfume. That's a free cash flow.
My name is Lou, and the sign name is Lorodi. I'm an entrepreneur myself. At the moment, I'm running a company named Motalo Palo Finance. Motalo Palo Finance is a financial educator. You know, what do we mean by financial education? It's a space where we talk about this thing called money. You know. How do we make more of it? What opportunities are available out there for young investors like ourselves that are available in Johannesburg Stock Exchange and banks? So the question here is, we have a lot of bubbles in the economy. We had bubbles. There's this thing of a bubble has just bursted. Recently, we were talking about the bubble that burst of subprime, where of housing, where a lot of money went into housing. We made a lot of credit in housing, and we failed to pay that. Then the housing sector, property market collapsed. So we have this cycle in business, you know, when. Yes, where we have a IT sector collapsing, and then we had a property sector collapsing, and then so the question here is which sector are we moving into now? You know, because that will create opportunities for us. And then the other question is gold. What is going to happen with gold at the moment? And is gold affordable to young people like us if we want to invest in gold? Thank you.
Okay, I think the question, which sector? You must invest in all sectors. When the housing sector has dropped, that's an opportunity because it's going to go up. When the IT sector is also not a favorite, it's also, when two pins must buy cheap. That's the bottom line. You must not look at this thing in a negative manner, that it has gone down. Gold, today before I came here, I signed a deal to do another gold business because I'm confident. I mean, the fact that America is not doing well and Europe is not doing well, that's an indication that gold is going to go up. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Unari Narashaka. I've actually started like a business about last year, but then I've had a problem with the management. So how do I balance my schoolwork and the business? Because clearly it looked as though I had to give up one of the two. So my problem is when it comes to management, I also suffered with that because like I found out that I got some other guy, I employed him, he was helping me, it was like kind of like a partnership, but then he was helping me. But then what I found out later on was that the guy actually is getting more money than I am from my deals. Yeah, so those kind of things, it was being confidential and all that. So my question is, how do I make sure that I balance the two? And then when it comes to management, how do I make sure that I get proper management? And then number two, okay, is it a good idea to involve family in a business? Like probably in my case, I've got an older sister helping me out, but then I was the one who was funding the whole business. But then now she uses the advantage that she's older and when it comes to those kind of things.
Okay, great. Let's talk about management. This world is so advanced now. Once you've got a business, you set up the rules, and you've got products, and you've got markups and all that. That is done on a spreadsheet. And for him being a student, these things are easy for him. You put a spreadsheet, but you manage the spreadsheet. So it's easy to detect fraudulent movement in a business. That's number one. Another one of having good partners is to let people invest their money. You don't give them freebies. They're also at risk. So they look at this entity as your entity and their entity. And families is a different ball game. At times it works, at times it doesn't work. The Maponyas is at work, wonderful. Shabalala was also a wonderful family business, but it didn't work. And internationally, I mean, you have family businesses and also got businesses that is individuals. I mean, like Pamodzi, I work with people that I meet and all that. So there's no formula, but if there's a problem, try and solve the problem. Thank you.
We thank you very much, Mr. Ntsele, for taking a portion of your time to be with us and share your knowledge and your business wisdom with us. And on behalf of the WSBS, we have a little token of our appreciation for the big sacrifice that you did for us today. We'd also like to thank everyone else who was able to make it today, because we know that it's also a sacrifice on your part to make it today. We'd also like to let you know about our next event, which is on the 2nd and 3rd of April. We'll be having a business writing workshop where only 40 people will be allowed to attend. So, and members will have preference in that 40. So if you are not a member of WSBS, I suggest that you promptly make that move and join the society. And application forms will be around. You just have to come up and take the details for one of the members so that you know where to apply, you know where to go for the business plan writing workshop on the 2nd and the 3rd of April. We'll be having big speakers on the day. Speakers such as Alan Rice, the CEO of Rascope, and Lebu Munguluza, the founder of Gem Group. So it will be an event worthwhile attending. Once again, we thank you all for making it to this prestigious event, and we wish you all to have a very lovely weekend. Thank you.